Morning, guys. I wanted to cast some resin parts this morning. Back this chair up a little so I got some room here. All right. Here we go. You want to cast resin parts? This one here is one of the front wheels that I like, and when I don't have enough resin, I would put it in there. I don't know if it's going to turn out, but I'll just leave it off to the side just in case. But here's a mold I made yesterday. It has a blower and it has two Hemi heads with their valve covers. And I need them for this truck here because there's no, there it is. I need valve covers on it, and it makes the front of the blower. There we go. All right. I already poured this stuff and measured it out. Down to the first line. Let me see. That don't even look right. Okay, it is. This stuff kicks off almost immediately. When it's mixed together. This is the least amount I have mixed yet. And I'll see if it works out. I put the thicker stuff in there first. That way I got time to get it all off the bottom and the sides. Then here's the thinner stuff. It almost goes in like water. The second it does, I'm get it out the bottom fast because I only have seconds. I would have to say about 15 seconds or so. 20 maybe. I don't know. We're gonna see how long it takes live. So mix it up real quick. This is how I made all the wheels for the Maximum Overdrive Semi. I cast a mold and I made all them parts off of it. Yeah, that's probably almost too long now. Move it around to where it doesn't have any air in it. There we go. There is extra. This stuff may even, here we go. Pour it in there. Self-leveling stuff. There we go. We got a Cobra wheel. I like casting them. I like the looks of the Cobra wheels. I see an air bubble in that one. There we go. Kind of squish it and move that one out. Okay. Yep. Let's see if. There's a Cobra, AC Cobra wheel with a tire. Okay, here it is. Put it there. All right, let's see what that does. When it starts to kick off, you can see it. It turns like an, well, you'll see it because it'll happen quick. There it goes. The blower is starting to go right now. See it turning milky. Stuff kicks off really fast. cast those for that. I tried to cast the entire engine with my last mold. And I got the engine in a Roadrunner, I think it was. Roadrunner or something in a lot. So it was already painted orange. And I put a blower on that motor. I want to cast it with a blower already on it. And the blower had been painted silver. And when I cast the mold stayed real gooey, it didn't kick off around the engine itself. And that ruins all the detail. It'll just be a block if I try to cast anything in it. Yeah, those are all kicking off really nice. And then the instructions say that you have about 7 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes demolding time, which is pretty fast. Now I've got a clock in here up on the wall. I'm going to consider that about kicked off. Yeah, I don't know how good that's going to turn out. We'll see. The engine block is still gooey. I'm going to try to make a mold of it. I haven't got all the gooey off it yet. I'll put this on the back burner right now. Let me see, about 5 minutes after 6, I think I'll call that good, maybe. Okay, here's the heads. There's the blower. Still got the rest of the engine wrapped up in a gooey mess with a paper towel around it, because I didn't want to get into touching that. And I should have that in there, except for I've been cleaning on it, and it's still gooey. So I'll just throw it in a bag with the rear ends that I make all those rear ends. I'll put some sprue through there. I'll drill it and make my own rear ends out of that. But let me move that aside. Okay. So I dechromed it, and it's real gooey, even after making that mold yesterday. I got all the paint and everything off. I do see some, and this is where I use hot glue on the bottom and glue it to the cap. Same way with this one here. And I dechromed it, and I took all the paint off, so I figured those should cast good. We will find out, I guess. If not, I'll just have to use those heads and put them on that truck. Now these ought to be real hot. Yeah, it's pretty hot. You can see the blower hat, the injection hat on there. Enderley. I think it's Enderley or Hillbrand injector. I like that one's got a lot of detail, but it's got no detail in the front of it. So I'll probably have to drill that in the resin. But that's what we're aiming for right there this morning. The first one that I'll undo, I think, will be this one here in just a few minutes. That way it'll give me a gauge to see, how soft it is. So I tested this model yesterday. Tested it and thought, boy, that looks really good. I've got a bunch of them displaying on the shelf, but that one turned out really nice. It's gorgeous color. I really like root beer and candy tangerine together like that. I like to do Tammy's car that way, but okay. Got a few more minutes, I think. I'm so impatient. I don't have any patience at all. It's a good thing that this stuff kicks off immediately because, yeah, I really don't have any patience. To this cap that I used, I normally use the paint caps from the small spray cans, and I'll glue them to the bottom, glue my parts in, but I didn't have hardly any resin left to do that. So what I did is I picked one of the two resins, silicone resin, and I cut it real low, cut them both low. And I cleaned one of them. I dumped them both together because there's 40-minute working time for this silicone, which is pretty nice. So I dumped them both together, and I didn't stir them or anything. I just let them stew for a minute, wiped the other one out with lacquer thinner, and then I used my tweezers and hot glue gun and glued these in at an angle, about like that. That way they would all fit in to that cap. And that way I was assured that I'd have just enough resin, and it barely cleared the cap. So then I grabbed a lock hinge and propped it up on that so it would dry at an angle like that. So it just barely covered that. So I want to see if that'll work out, if that turns out right. I'm still a little nervous because it was all gooey inside there. So somehow, and these are still gooey, somehow something contaminated as if they were painted. So I don't know what I did wrong there. But here's the wheels that I made for the semi. I used up almost all my mold material. And what was on the sides of the containers had all settled in the bottom, and that gave me enough to make this mold. So it was the last one. That's one that I'm going to be able to make out of that batch. What do we got? We got, that's time to unmold that. Let's leave that one. Let's see if the one turned out. This one here. Let's see if this one turned out. The one I started casting the last time. And I had the semi wheels. I just kind of pull it away. And then, perfect. No air bubbles in the tread, no anything that I don't like. And then I chuck this in my lathe, and then I'll turn this back either into a brake drum, or I'll machine it smooth, but it turned out very nice. And it's not even really, well, that one wouldn't be hot, would it? This one here Start pulling it away. There we go. Did end up with an air bubble right there, which really doesn't bother me on these rims because I'm going to put them in the lathe and machine that edge down. And then I'm going to turn my outers with as deep as I want them, deep dish in the back and then kind of deep in the front. Deeper than this anyway, in the front. And I'll turn them on my lathe out of aluminum. And I'll paint these a charcoal metallic like Ford did. And then they called it argent, I believe. And then I'll put the aluminum outers on there and then they'll look very realistic. They'll look the part anyway. Okay, move these molds out of the way. I got a big stack of them over there that I made out of that one batch that I got. I think I got it from Amazon. There we go. Now that one's got the tire and everything. Okay. Now this is going to be the moment I've been waiting for a while now when I cast that first engine and it didn't turn out. Here we go. So you get to see it live if it turns out. All right, here we go. I'm going to start pulling it out because the three parts are stuck together because it pooled. Let's see if that is a good idea or a bad idea. It's taking my mold. I can see something is not happy. Tripping my mold, I think. No? Yeah. It did come out without tearing up the mold too much. Let's see what we got. I'm not happy with any of that. No. And it's gooey. So something with those parts, it's as clean as they are, something was all over those parts that's contaminated. And I had them perfectly cleaned off. That was painted silver. Got rid of all that. You can see some chrome still left in there. Let's see how that turned out. Okay, I see that detail pretty good. The blower looks like it turned out. But the heads, I'm going to be able to sand it and get them kind of decent, but we've lost some detail. I think it lost a lot of detail. I don't think I'm ever going to recast them. I'm just not into it. But I wanted to show you guys what that looks like live. And I've got my favorite mold that I make all my big drag slicks out of. Those were the Blue Streak tires that I like so much. So I cast them whenever I can. I think I've got several of them. These are a pair of them there. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with that. A little bit of food for thought if you want to make your own parts. Save on buying Hemi engines and all that. Just make your own. But I would suggest using them right out of the kit. Don't use ones that someone else had already painted. Okay, guys, have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you later.